It's high school football playoff week, the first week of the playoffs. I'm Fox 23 Sports Director Nathan Thompson, along with the Tulsa World Sports Editor Barry Lewis, and we are going to go over the top 5 games in week 1 of the playoffs. You can get Barry's column in the Tuesday edition of the Tulsa World and also on okprepsextra.com. The number 1 game is also the Fox 23 game of the week. We love it when that happens. Yes. And man, what a matchup we have in Class 5A. Collinsville at Booker T. Booker T's first season in Class 5A, and they have done a great job.
Yes, they have. They've won 8 in a row. They're on quite a roll. They've got an incredible defense, but this is not your typical 1 versus 4 matchup. This is not an easy draw for Booker T, because usually you have easier opponents than this in the first round if you're the district champion. But Collinsville, 7-3. 2 of their losses have been by 1 point. They are a program that's enjoyed recent playoff success. They won the state championship in 2021. The last 2 years, their first-round game has gone right down to the final seconds. They've been like the best first-round games in the area, and that could be the case again. It could be 3 in a row this year. Last year, they won the final play at Coweta, so they know what it's like to win a tough playoff game on the road, and that's the task that's ahead of them if they're looking to advance.
In game number 2, we go up to the Class 6A1. Union does get a home playoff game hosting Mustang, but it's kind of a rare situation, a unique position the Redhawks are in this season.
Yes, Union knew going into last week's game against Edmond Memorial that it was going to play one more home game this season. They'd open in the playoffs at home. They just didn't expect it to be this week. They expected it to be next week in the quarterfinals. But Edmond Memorial had other plans as they stunned Union last week. So now Union will host this week against Mustang. But when the quarterfinals come, if they can get past Mustang, it'll be on the road at Jenks. And you know Jenks is hungry for a rematch after the way that first game ended. So it's a lot tougher road for Union than they thought they were going to have going into last week's game. But first things first, they've got to beat Mustang, and so they can't avoid, they've got to get over whatever emotional hangover there may be from last week and not get caught up in looking past Mustang to a potential rematch with Jenks. So that's the challenge ahead for Union. And Mustang has lost 3 in a row, so they're reeling a bit. But, hey, there's no room for error at this time in the playoffs, so Union's got to bring their A game.
And then game number 3, we go to Class 4A. Wagner has been dominating everyone they've played. The Bulldogs hosting Poto, and these two teams very familiar with each other in the playoffs.
Yes, this is their 5th time in 9 years of meeting in the playoffs. The last time was in the 2022 semifinals when Wagner won. But Poto beat Wagner in the 2019 semifinals en route to the state championship. Poto's really a difficult team to prepare against because they're wing T offense, and it's definitely a team you want to jump ahead of. You want to get the first couple touchdowns because if Poto hangs around, they can be really tough to come back against. So Wagner's just been steamrolling about everybody, but Poto is a bit of a challenge there. As Wagner coach Dale Condit says, Poto's a scrappy team, and they're always a scrappy team. So Wagner can't afford to look past the Pirates, and Wagner, if they get past Poto, has a really challenging road ahead because theoretically, if everything goes as planned, to get to the state championship, win the state championship, they'd have to beat the number 2, 3, and 4 ranked teams. So it doesn't get any tougher than that, besides playing Poto.
Definitely not. Now game number 4, Broken Arrow at Deer Creek. The Tigers have a losing record, 4-6 in the season, but they're coming into the playoffs with a little bit of momentum after a very impressive win in their regular season finale.
Yes, a really strange matchup in the fact that both teams are coming off impressive wins, but before that it lost 3 in a row. Broken Arrow's been a lot of frustrating moments for them this year. They have a losing record. I know they thought at this point they went into the season thinking that they would be vastly improved over last year, and they are. Just doesn't show it that much on their 1-loss record. But this is a big chance for Broken Arrow to erase a lot of that frustration and get that big playoff win in a game that I think, no disrespect to Deer Creek is 7-3, but I think this is a winnable playoff game for Broken Arrow. But their defense showed a lot of improvement last week, have to have another strong effort in order to advance.
And rounding out the top 5, we go to Class 3A and what looks to me like a very even matchup between Holland Hall and Berry Hill.
Yes, both teams are 6-4. Both teams appeared to be peaking at the right time of the season, and I think they still are peaking, although that got derailed a little bit last week as both teams lost. So, but still, it's been a good second half of the season for both those teams. I think this is a toss-up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when that happens. Kicks off Friday night. Again, this is Barry's column of the top 5 games. You can get that in the Tuesday edition of the Tulsa World or on okprepsextra.com. Great website there to check out all your high school football coverage. And as always, pick up a newspaper every day of the week, right? Especially on Saturday, we'll have game recaps and scores and great pictures from the Tulsa World photography staff. As far as Fox 23, our game of the week, as I said, Collinsville at Booker T. Spencer will be live from S.C. Williams Stadium at 6:20 previewing that game. And then he will be live, but not on Fox 23 because we have a college football game that runs late. So we will be live streaming our high school football coverage and our newscast, fox23.com or the Fox 23 News app at 10:30 Friday night. So make sure you check it out there. And if you can't, don't worry, you can always go to fox23.com sports page, click on the High School Football Tonight icon there at the top of the page for all of our high school football coverage.